I'm now just moving on to Mr. Gopinath Parayil. Gopi is a promoter of sustainability and a believer in social entrepreneurship. And Mr. Gopi is a pioneer in responsible tourism. He's also the founding board member of Asian Ecotourism Network and one of the judges of the prestigious National Geographic World Literacy Awards. He represents Blue Yonder in its capacity as the official sustainable tourism partner of ITB Berlin and ITB Asia. Quickly, I'm moving on to you, Mr. Gopi. We are in the last lap. Mr. Gopi?
Yeah.
Your voice is breaking.
Please run the.
My name is Gopinath Parayil. I'm a social entrepreneur from the state of Kerala in India, and I run a responsible travel company called the Blue Yonder. I am going to talk to you about possibilities of sustainable tourism. You might wonder what a leisure industry like tourism has got anything to do with the humanitarian sector. I would say everything. Especially when the humanitarian sector is struggling to cope with the demands coming from different parts of the world with increasing frequency, be it man-made or natural disasters. Climate change has moved into a crisis phase where the world could use any support that could come from any corner and not just the humanitarian sector. More focus on carbon neutral economy is going to further reduce the contribution to global humanitarian budget. The travel industry is everywhere, in every country, in every type of environment. In particular, in the most beautiful, fragile places, the beaches, coral reefs, mountains, and forests. It also affects almost every other industry: construction, food, transport, real estate, and communications. Thanks to the tourism industry's unrivaled network, it supports 1 in 10 jobs and 10% of global GDP. Compared to the 27 billion US dollar humanitarian sector, the tourism sector itself is a 8 trillion US dollar economy. Link all this with the communities and destinations around which experiences are provided, and you will be surprised how tourism sector can in fact be the one support system that humanitarian sector has been looking for as a sectoral partner. From moving things from one place to another or finding the funds to build capacities for disaster response or community resilience. Synergy within the tourism and humanitarian sector is yet to be explored fully. Irrespective of the grand bargains, humanitarian summits, cluster approach, and Sendai frameworks, the humanitarian sector could do with a literal out-of-the-box thinking. Facilitating resilient communities as part of disaster risk reduction strategies and building local capacities has been talked about a lot, but not replicated or scaled to the extent that is globally needed. Our proposal to look into repurposing tourism sector to ease out the pressure on humanitarian sector need not be accepted excitedly by the powerful players as it hands over real power to the locals.
That we need to start talking about localization. So everyone is dependent on funds from elsewhere, looking at the UN, looking at INGOs, looking at the governments, and here is a community initiative which is 100% run by volunteers where they identified a problem and they started looking for a solution, which I think is an inspiring story for the world to replicate anywhere else, not just in Kerala or in India.
As our world confronts a worsening climate crisis, this unique structure puts the tourism industry also particularly at risk. Rising temperatures and sea levels mean its prime assets, the natural wonders of the world, risk being destroyed. Paradoxically, the industry's heavy reliance on aviation contributes to the climate crisis, and this may create resentment towards the industry as a growing number of people become concerned about climate change. So, this is not about CSR, but it is about the industry's own sustainability and survival. Climate change also presents the travel industry with a simple and profound opportunity: repurpose and adapt travel assets to strengthen the resilience of communities in the face of climate change. Now, how do we do that? Let me share a story from a home state in Kerala. Due to global warming, sea level water is rising in different parts of the world, making farming a difficult livelihood option. Pokkali, the rice, however, is saline tolerant and grows up to 1.5 meter tall, which means it survives floods. Hence, we launched the Climate Change Resistant Food Initiative in Cochin in 2011 in partnership with the local cooperative bank. By marrying into responsible tourism here, we ensured that the farmers have supplementary sources of income as well. Local hotels and restaurants are now purchasing the rice and organic vegetables that are grown in the locality because it has a powerful story that can be conveyed to the travelers as well as the local consumers. As part of the project, we train people to swim, use canoes, kayaks, boats, to be first responders, give first aid, etc. These life skills are applicable on a day-to-day basis as well as used when a disaster strikes. The same materials and skills also help them earn better livelihood options while engaging in experiential tourism activities. The funds for the same project are sourced from the tourism industry in local, national, and international markets. The profit generated from the initiative can then further be used for scaling up projects or used for profit sharing among stakeholders. A financial support system that's for sustainable development of the region gives better conviction for the tourism industry to tell powerful stories to their travelers or clients. Such a partnership ensures that the local governments or humanitarian agencies can actually spend the money wisely in other priority areas. Or it could be a platform like Airbnb developing open homes, a version of its own platform that provides free temporary accommodation to refugees or people whose homes have been destroyed in a crisis.
To imagine what he has gone through and how he had to leave everything behind. I want to give something back, and I think I got much more back myself.
Else also, she treats me like her own son. Yeah, I'm very happy about her.
Or it could be the Welcome Home program of TripAdvisor, where they support the resettlement of displaced people in New York City in partnership with the International Rescue Committee. As you can see, the humanitarian sector has already thought out of the box through this partnership with TripAdvisor.
We have partnered with TripAdvisor to launch a new campaign, which is called the Welcome Home campaign, to provide refugees with opportunities to explore, to engage in fun experiences that will hopefully make them feel like they're at home.
Welcome to Ellis Island. There you go. The United States is a country of immigrants, and many of them came through.
Or it could be a reef resilience insurance fund where the insurance of coral reef in Mexico is undertaken by hoteliers on beachfront as premium holders. Reef reduces the storm damage and creates calm seas. Thus, it is a piece of insurance. When it is damaged, premium is released to rebuild. However, our research shows that no one has woven all these creative initiatives into a shared narrative that can frame a future path for tourism industry's sustainable development while ensuring that we address the climate crisis and ensuing disasters. And that's where the opportunity lies for the humanitarian sector. A community that is resilient to climate crisis will be better prepared to manage and survive an ensuing disaster. However, building the resilience involves multiple stakeholders and has proved to be expensive. Community interlinkages, along with the support of a powerful tourism industry focusing on responsible tourism, while also understanding their own vulnerability and sustainability, is the key to build a resilient community. Resilient communities could be solution seeker that works with vulnerable societies, that build capacities to address climate change, manage disasters better, and hence put less pressure on the conventional humanitarian sector. My name is Gopinath.
Thank you, Gopi. It's another highly insightful, contentful video message. I understand you're having some range problem out over there. I just got a message.
Yes, that's right. Can you hear me now?
Slightly. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me properly?
Okay. Quickly. Yeah. We can hear you, but you're not talking.
Okay, cool. I was not sure. So all I wanted to, the reason I put together the video quickly was because of the connection issues, so that you could hear it at least. The main pitch that I have when it comes to a resilient and responsible destination comes from a school of thought that, irrespective of having the caravans, having the well-being centers, having villas, everything, if we don't do a vulnerability assessment when it comes to a climate crisis, all these investments are going to be down the drain. Just imagine, like I am coming from Pondicherry, like yesterday I was in Pondicherry. Most of the properties during the weekend, which were running full the previous weekend, are empty today. Saturday and Sunday, most of them do not have guests staying with them. The reason is the La Nina, the cyclone, as well as the depression that has happened, which is creating all the rain in Chennai and Pondicherry area. Guests do not want to travel. They do not want to take the risk. So until and unless we are all very serious about the climate crisis, this is going to come back and bite us again and again. So the focus of our tourism industry, as well as the state governments, as well to the lowest level of panchayat and individual industry, has to be about building resilient destination. Kerala tourism has to invest there. We have to do a vulnerability assessment. We need to prepare our communities, because this is going to be like how we manage to sort of live with COVID, with all the crisis. We need to learn to live with the climate crisis. And if we don't, we will miss the bus. So that's my.
Thank you, Gopi. Thank you for presenting a critical point of view on the vulnerability issue. But still, your talk and the video brings new hopes, new expectations, and new inspirations to the tourism entrepreneurs, I'm sure.